This clip is brought to you by VegasWinners.com. Get expert sports betting advice from some of the best handicappers in the world. Head on over to VegasWinners.com and win yourself some money.
Brent Barnett is up next. JR, before your podcast, I never knew you called Atlanta Falcons football. Would you consider getting back in the booth on Sundays if an opportunity came up?
Well, you know, I'd like to say egocentrically, yes, hell yeah, I can start Sunday. And my boss owns the team. But we've never had that discussion. They've got a good guy, Frank Frangie, that does their play-by-play. He's been doing it for years. He's a radio guy here in Jacksonville, and a good dude. I like his work. But I don't know what I'm 69. I'll be 70 in January. I don't want to burn the candle too vividly at both ends. And that would, because that's a full-time gig, man.
Yeah.
We just play one day a week. Yeah. You just walk in and your board's ready and your prep's ready, and you've met with your producers, you met with both coaches, you met with who are the team selects you to talk to as far as personnel. And so there's just no time for it. Would I enjoy setting in, adding a little color here, there, and yon? Of course, because you're watching football and talking about it. How cool is that? We're no football junkie. But I think that train left the station. I at one time, that was really what I was interested in doing. I was on the Atlanta Falcon broadcast team. I think in '92, it was the first year that the Georgia Dome opened. They want to come out with a brand new broadcast team. They used Bill Rosinski, who's a talented broadcaster and a great friend. Does golf, he does football. I want to see him at the OU Iowa State game. He's got that on radio, national radio. So I'll see him and his wife. She's a spotter. And we'll have a little dinner, drink a little bottle of wine or something. But I wanted to, that was my first love. And to be honest with you, my ultimate dream job would have been to do OU football on radio. But, you know, between wrestling always took up a big place in my life. So when you read about yourself, well, he's this, he's that, you know, look, nobody knows when it's time to step away any better than the person that's in question. And so when I feel like I can't hold up my end or carry my share of the water, as my dad would say, then I'll take my leave. But you know, it's been a great journey. I got some interesting offers to do. My 50th year in wrestling business will be in 2024. It generally takes about a year and a half to get everything written. It's a long process. And my writing partner is Paul O'Brien. He's brilliant. He lives in Ireland. And so we have to take special arrangements to communicate. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to try to get something in print, a cool book, waiting on refining the concept and putting a deal together. But Under the Black Hat did so well, as did Slobberknocker. I don't think we're going to have trouble getting a deal done. So, you know, 50 years in the business, 50 years of broadcasting, 50 years in the office, in the most unpredictable, unique world that one could ever imagine, staying 50 years and surviving. Now, all I got to do is, with the good Lord, to give me to 2024, and I'll be fine. But there's a lot of good things happening, but that's one of them.
Plug for ad-free shows here. We were able to have Paul O'Brien on our book club as a guest, and he talked about the writing process with you, living in Ireland, communicating back and forth with you as he wrote Slobberknocker.
Yeah.
Under the Black Hat, and our guys got to ask him questions about writing the book and stories that moved him, and it was just a really good time with Paul.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Paul is a brilliant guy. Yeah. Written screenplays and things like that. So he's a man. I wouldn't want to write a book with anybody else.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what takes shape there. Hopefully something big between you and Paul. Justin Langlois says, I've been listening to a lot of your old radio broadcasts. We have those over at Ad-Free Shows. And with Eric Bischoff getting into radio, he's been doing that a little bit, did it through the summer. Is getting into radio something you would consider again, doing anything on the radio?
All the audio I want to do is right here for Connie. and to work with the guys like you and trying to help build this entity.
There you go.
To where we're all making more money. Conrad's very fair on how we all get taken care of. It's all productivity. So if you want to draw more, you promote more, have better shows, and embrace that audience that's following you. So I like radio. I like being guests on radio shows. But to have a daily show, how do you do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even worth spending thought on because it's just physically impossible for me.
Rory Melberg is up next, Jim, and he says, does JR miss the old Big 8 conference and the rivals Oklahoma had?
Oh, absolutely. I'm old enough to know that all change isn't bad, but our league there in the Big 12 is crumbling. The Big 8 was fun. Fans could come and drive. You could drive to Nebraska 3 or 4 hours. Missouri, easy. Oklahoma State was 70 miles away. So, yeah, the trips are good. And the rivalries were so everlasting and long-term. And then Texas got their network. The Big 12 came along, and Texas got their network. Everybody got pissed off. Texas and withdrew. And it's just politics. And now Texas and Oklahoma are leaving the league, going to the SEC, perhaps as early as next year. And I don't know how we're going to do about that. The SEC fandom is very strong-willed. They believe, and they are, the best college football conference in America. And I see with adding Oklahoma and Texas only should strengthen their league all the way around, and therefore make them all more money.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe this is real, but we not only got a handicapper, but we got the best ever. How are you so good at handicapping these games? I mean, 4-0, that's quite a streak already.
Well, let's talk about every pick I've given this year in the NFL as an example. 23-8. Every pick I've given this year. 4 weeks in the bag, 23-8. There's nobody in the country that can match what I do, but I always make sure, because anybody, Conrad, could make up anything. They could tell you and blow smoke and tell you, oh, I'm the greatest. But I am independently monitored and documented, so nobody could ever question what I say and go, I don't believe it. I send every pick to an independent monitoring and documentation service that has to get the pick before the game goes off and then publishes it after the game goes off so anybody can see what I gave. But this is the best start I've ever had. I've never been this good to start a season. You don't win every week, 4 weeks in a row, everything you put out. It's been the kind of year I've had. So get on a hot streak, because when a guy's on a hot streak like me, you want to ride it. I've always had a talent for picking winners. Never quite as hot as I am right now, but I've always been very good at it. And I think it's because I do more homework than anybody else. The average guy or gal watching this podcast, they don't have time. They have a career. They have jobs. They might read the newspaper or go online and see something, but they don't have time 80 hours a week to study the games. That's what I do. And I have a crew of guys behind me, my consultants, who every week we get together 3 times a week and they throw their ideas at me. I throw my ideas at them. And then I pick the final 5 plays on Saturday and Sunday in college and pro football. So, I've got a great team behind me too, but we're all doing together hundreds of hours of homework. So you don't have to. It's all at VegasWinners.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to VegasWinners.com right now. Let's win some money.
Brian Schroeder is up next, and he said, what is Jim Ross's favorite college football game of all time that he was either live to see or watched on TV?
Well, I was on the sideline in 2000 for the Oklahoma-Florida State game when Oklahoma won 13-2 and became the national champions. I don't think I remember seeing a more exciting OU game than this past week, a few weeks ago, down in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl when the Sooners came back and beat Texas. That was just simply a great football game to watch, no matter if you're a OU fool like me or a Texas devotee. So, but I think in person, that national championship is hard to beat.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.